Yep. Hi, Rohan. Thanks for joining. And you are appearing for a senior cloud engineer, cloud architect kind of roles. So we'll
Yeah,
keep that discussion in that area. But before we start, just help me go through your profile. What sort of experience you have? How many years of experience you hold? What are your roles and responsibilities in the last major project that you have worked on? I'll just bring your resume as well on screen.
yeah, sure. So actually, I have an experience in most kind of like DevOps arc role plus application development as well plus product analyst role as well. So like I've been involved with working with medical clients and BFSI clients as well. So most of the majority of the roles in my like last organization is totally related to maintaining and deploying the infrastructure as a solution for the one of the medical clients and uh, plus managing the infra solution more kind on IES things only. But later then they moved to SaaS products. Then we kind of like fetch all those things and manipulated our CI/CD pipelines and all. Uh, Actually, the earlier it was like in Azure more kind of like maintaining the Azure policies and all. But now when I switched my job to like that finance sector, so right now like I'm managing and development plus deployment of cloud related stuff in for one of the governance data engine.
Okay. So it's
Yeah,
it's been mostly in regulated environment of medical devices and banking.
yeah, medical client and banking. Yes. Mhm.
Which client, medical client, do you mind? Which company was it?
Yeah, actually it's an international SOS, so it's medical services client.
Okay.
And right now like in Accenture it was there, and right now like I'm working in SSPC, so they have like in-house everything. Yeah.
Okay. All right. There is a bit of difficulty I'm having while listening. There is bit of lag. Do you mind taking off the Bluetooth and on speaker itself you can,
Uh, yeah, I can like
or
look. Just a moment. Let me know like if you can hear me.
yeah, I can hear you now. Can you speak up?
Hear me properly, right?
Uh, Not that clear, but let's get started. Let's see. Uh,
Yes. Mhm.
so let me stop sharing your resume and see. Uh, so I wanted to understand you are looking for more of an architect kind of position. Do you understand the regulatory part of the companies that you are working? Are you managing any compliance there, meeting any compliance sort of thing?
Yeah, so actually, like in my last firm as well, and like in current, like I used to maintain the GDPR requirements from like medical clients. Actually, it's being like 3 years into that thing also, and right now it's also in that ICR meetings and all, and then we need to like work with vulnerabilities, scan indexes of US government in order to provide the secure solutions for the
Mhm.
HSBC in USA. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. Okay. So usually my first question from architect kind of profiles is, do you understand well architected framework?
Well architected framework. Yeah. So actually, in what insights like you want me to like discuss?
Just explain what are the pillars of a well architected framework and how do you meet um, one or two of them? How do you go about it?
Actually, first of the thing is like whenever the requirements comes, like we discuss with the marketing team and like project resources pooling thing. So what is the overall budget? And according to the budget, like we like leverage the technologies. And for leveraging the technologies, will like most of the things will include is fast failure things. So in case of like fast failure methods, so if for example if we'll adopt like any of the like cloud technology for leveraging the resource pooling strategy, so generally we will go for most of the subscriptions. Like first we'll design the cost optimization part, and
Mhm.
after that cost optimization part, we'll work with the marketing solutions team. So how we can leverage the most of the kinds of bandwidth how market needs as per their lot of, because generally
When you
right
say
now.
market, what are you referring to?
Actually, it's kind of like right now it's kind of governance product like we are working on.
Mhm.
So it's having the more base of like 1.2 lakh of users.
Okay,
Uh,
user base is what you are referring to as
user base,
market.
yeah. So according to the user base governance, so we will design the solutions, and after leveraging the technologies, uh, we'll we'll check in fast failure strategies. In case of any fast failure checks, whether it is failing or not, so we will design the bandwidth accordingly and adopt the resources. Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
What other, like, theoretically, what are the pillars of a well-architected framework?
So actually, it is more kind, if you can go, it is more kind of adopting the technologies
Mhm.
from like a budgeting part plus
Cost.
leveraging, cost part,
Mhm.
and making your infrastructure more resilient, uh, whatever you are giving to senior persons roles, how they are going to map.
More resilient, operationally efficient,
Yeah, actually,
security.
yeah, security. So there's an VP. So like they used to always go in the ICR meetings to check whether you are mapping
What
the
is
fast.
ICR meeting?
So actually, in the ICR meetings, so they will generally discuss about like what frameworks you are going to map with your team.
What does
Uh,
it mean? ICR stands for?
like actually it's a council meeting, like it's a means of council meeting, plus in case of any delivery, right? So they will
Mhm.
raise the CR tickets and all. So
Okay.
they will adopt all those CR tickets, and in case of any business new requirements come, so they will map all the architects according to different design solutions.
Okay. So you mentioned a bit of cost management few times.
Yeah.
In the last few minutes. So I wanted to understand, have you done any assessment or have you worked on a project or from
Yeah.
cost point of view?
Yeah. Yeah, so like I haven't worked directly because like I have not been an architect role earlier. So but more kind of consultant role. So I'll be working with like product owner and marketing design team. Plus one person is their VP from like tech things. So they will showcase, like will go to that AWS infra solutions. So they will work with their marketing team and sales team to leverage the solutions, how they can provide us the better,
Mhm.
and how they can scale up with different entities. So for example, they have to make any for example any wallet kind of services. Okay, so in
No,
case
no,
of
no, no. We'll go with, probably I
yeah,
will give an example.
yeah,
So since you said consultant kind of role you have played, what would be your questions if you have to work on a cost optimization project in AWS? What would you ask customer? What
yeah.
questions you would
So
ask them?
so so actually, like we will go through that AER metrics. So in that AER matrix, we will map the how the retention of the users were, okay, according to market size, and how which products like we are going to use, and if we are leveraging any technologies from any cloud solutions provider,
Mhm.
so how they can easily uh, set how they can easily map to our metrics. Because if we will check the availability index, so like in the availability index we'll map different solutions. So like for example, if we are going for Azure instead of AWS, so how
this can be like more suitable and more mapped in our
In which
ACR.
case you would go for Azure and not AWS?
Sorry, can you come up again?
In which case you would go for Azure and not AWS?
Yeah. So first we will check uh, the availability part, availability and retention,
Uh,
availability and retention part.
Availability as in where the customers are,
Yeah,
where the market. Say it's an
where
international product like Netflix.
yeah. So like first we will check like how resilient their services are. Actually, most of them are like 99% resilience in AWS and Azure. So we will check like in with their sales and marketing, and sometimes it will come into place like how, for example, in how our infrastructure is more resilient to either Azure or AWS. So because we need to like do the overall mapping from other like segment of products as well, because right now we have like a governance engine. So we need to like consult with other market segments like personal bankings as well. They're different entities. So we'll
Mhm.
consult with them also like how we can, because instead of Azure we'll go for AWS. So
But
how
will that reduce, like, is that the only lever we have for reducing the cost? We go from AWS to Azure.
No, only because it will work on more kind of solutions perspective also. So how earlier we are using like AWS, okay. So whatever the challenges our
Mhm.
team had faced with that specific product, okay, we will take the feedback from our like senior software engineers and DevOps and test engineers, how they are leveraging the product, is there any latency or not, whatever the uptimes were there. Yeah, those kind of things we will consider into our AER metrics. So,
Okay.
we- mm,
Okay. I think it's not very clear to me, to be frank. I'm not able to correlate how this translates into a cost optimization for your customer. We want to reduce their cost. They are running Netflix, which is worldwide application. Now you have been asked to reduce the cost. How would you go
yes.
about it? What would you
Okay.
check? What questions you would ask them?
Okay. So, for example, if for example, right now there are several, like for example, 1 lakh user base is there. Okay. So
Mhm.
in that 1 lakh user base, we will first check like how many of the users retention, how's the retention policy, okay. So for example, if we are giving the Netflix to the users at 179 rupees cost, and we are reducing down to 169, okay. So for example, if we are reducing to 169, so like how our infrastructure bandwidth will map, okay, and what is the actual difference for reducing the 179 to 169. For
Mhm.
example, earlier existing users were giving 179 rupees, and now we are decreasing the 169. So actual customer actual customer retention rate, how uh, how it was previously, and
Right.
how's the new base customer rates, okay. According to that, we will map our technologies and how earlier we have provided our like for example our project plans and mappings and budgeting for leveraging the AWS solutions,
Okay,
okay. So how
let's assume you made some assumption that because of reducing the price, there will be 20% increase in user base. So you improved your infrastructure, but with God's grace, instead of small improvement, you saw the number of users doubled.
yeah.
So how would you handle that kind of situation?
So generally, for example, generally we will first we will check the. I already told like first we'll check the retention rate, how it is generally, and then we will optimize the cost. How earlier the total cost will be like. For example, earlier 21 million users were there, okay, who
Mhm.
were paying 179 rupees, and now uh, those customers were not willing to pay 179, but they were paying 169 rupees instead of 179. So how's the like total cost difference from existing customers, and what is the percentage of new customers who are coming? we are totaling the cost, and then uh, we were like there's some like budgeting team and like a resource pooling team who
So
is
your answers are more management kind of thing, like how you would roll out the cost to your customers, whether it should be 179 or 169. But it's not coming out as if how as an architect you would handle that situation. That is not evident from the discussion. How you would ensure your systems are more reliable. Um,
yeah. So actually, from the like technology end part, like most of the things is like because like most of the things is kind of like fault tolerance kind of stuff, because everything is mapped to the metrics and fault tolerance. Okay, so for example, if we are taking any services
mhm.
and we are going to other service provider, so how's the earlier fault tolerance, how's our company had adopted
So
those
what is the
services.
fault tolerance for an EC2 instance?
So actually, like the fault tolerance will be like map according to the percentage.
Mhm.
So, for example, if the compute services were there, so in the compute services, we will check how many regions and how the bandwidth for that particular region. So we will map accordingly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Tell me a bit about security in cloud. Whose responsibility it is? Is it AWS offering security, or is it we have to manage? Who is responsible for that?
Yeah, so like to be true, like in our project, the DevOps engineers were doing that by leveraging the IAM policies and all. And
Mhm.
there are three, four different of line of businesses. They
Mhm.
have like a segregated different line of business to that IAM policies. So
Mhm.
once that IAM policies APIs will call in backend, that is Spring Boot application is there. So they have some restrictions like maintainers and controllers. So who is able to maintain the application, who is able to control and proceed for the documentations and all. So those were the things we are mapping. And earlier in my company, earlier in Accenture, like we are using the Azure Secure Vault security standards.
Tell me your DevOps experience, your application build, package, deploy. Do you use these kind of activities?
Yeah, like I have done like in Accenture also and here also like I am doing. But like in case of more kind of like actually we are like for example if any solution will come now like we will go to that AWS and we will check the cost optimization first from like their website is there that will what all compute resources you are using, and then after that we'll check with VP of the product like how it is, and then we will map according to the service and we'll do all the configurations
Mhm.
related to EC2. And actually right now it is embedded also, like some services are using Azure. I'm not sure like, but like different pods were consuming Azure plus AWS, and they were different projects. They were leveraging GCP also. So it's like a hybrid.
Okay. 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 So it's a complex environment. What is your CI/CD experience, although? Like, is it using Jenkins? What tools have you used? Okay, which is your core skill set? If I ask you, is it CI/CD or is it cloud? What is your main skill set?
Yeah, actually, like I have worked on CI/CD as well as and backend
Using
solution.
which tools you used?
Yeah, CI/CD, like I used like from end-to-end pipeline from Jenkins, from Git to like building the integrity, continuous integration, then fast failure checks, then Maven builds, and then Nexus, and then the Sonar scans, and then they have for other security vulnerabilities check, they have used a cyber scan flows as well in the pipeline, and after
Okay.
that cyber scan flows will deploy to lower environments. We have three environments. According to that, once that is deployed to lower environment, means that is deployed to pods and
Okay. Can you
prevention.
give me example of a few Jenkins plugins that you used?
Yeah, actually, like for like webhooks in Jenkins, like we use Flags, okay, and then like in Jenkins, like we use like Argo CD as well, Argo CD, and
OCD is different. Jenkins is different, right?
yeah, actually, right now, like we map different solutions, but like in like web Jenkins webhooks when we are integrating different packages. So like we have like Nexus also, and then Git while configuring the Jenkins, we have like Git integrity, yeah, those things.
Did you
So
configure quality gates and all in Jenkins?
quality gates, let me like think. Actually, I'm not able to recall regarding the quality gates to be true.
Okay. No
But
worries.
yeah.
And what sort of information do you see on SonarQube? What sort of report it sends?
Yeah, actually, like to be true, like most of the things, like I working on Sonar Cube only. So
Mhm.
actually, like when any one cyber flow will fail, right? And so they have uh, like a noise smell, like code
Code
smell.
smell.
So it will throw that code
What is
smell.
a code smell?
Yes, so code smell will check the vulnerabilities part, like what all major vulnerabilities you have.
Okay.
So actually, during our like last deployment, we found that some object references and some SQL injections were there. So like we have then we have removed that package dependencies and then all. It is got sorted out after making the changes to the code level. Yeah.
Mhm. All right. Awesome. So it does inform you on SQL injection. What is SQL injection, by the way?
Okay, so SQL injection, for example, like when any of the users were using username and password, and in the query, SQL query, like we are searching select a star number of users. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so instead of like select number of star number of users, so if because sometimes generally earlier when security standards were not there, developers without that security standard, developers used to like pass the query parameter as a string. Okay, so but that string anyone can manipulate. Okay, so then we have like used this in J2 in this one, for example, what it is called in Java in Hibernate framework, like they have used like a query parameter instead of like
Mm-hmm.
query parameter they have used to pass the question mark. So
Okay.
instead of that they will check like how.
So the attacker can
Yeah,
insert some
yeah,
external commands and then
yeah.
they
So
can get access to
like,
your.
yeah, we are not doing any hard coding. So instead of like passing the query parameter, we will check the authentication, like whether you are authentic, you are like viable authenticated user or not. Yeah.
But is that a solution for SQL
No, like
injection?
actually, like we are using the executor frameworks also to uh, check the SQL injection, but like instead of like passing the hard code values directly, so we are passing the question mark, and then according to that, it will validate from high.
Validate the
Yeah,
inputs.
validate from like
Because
Hibernate.
even in a SQL injection, the request would still be authenticated.
Yes. Mhm.
We have to validate the values. Okay. What are the challenges in your role right now that you are performing? Do you see any issues or
Yeah.
like what challenge what issues do you face on day-to-day basis and how do you resolve them?
Okay. So right now, like last time, like we got mail from US vulnerability index policy. So like there are 3-4 vulnerabilities are there. So they told like to upgrade the JDK version. Okay. So while we are upgrading the JDK version, still that the sonar scans were failing, okay, in the pipeline. So then we had upgraded to JDK, and uh, all the like codes were failing because it's like legacy application. So like then we need to change the every attributes and all from everything. So
Mhm.
and then we need to deliver the application within this cohort. So so that's why like what we have done, instead of like going through that Jenkins pipeline, we have like deployed the application through IBM WebSphere. Yeah.
Okay, so Is it something recently happened, this one?
Yeah, actually, it's recently happened. Like I passed 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
So you are more close to Sonar Cube kind of products in the pipeline. Is that the idea?
It's not only specific to sonar scan. So in case of any like there's one portal called Secure Code Warrior. So like for that portal, like we are managing like whether the standard coding standards were deployed in our solutions or not.
Hmm. That
And then
again is a code quality kind of thing.
yeah, code
But
quality kind of.
I want to like get more into looking at your resume. It talks about Kubernetes and
Yeah,
AWS infrastructure.
yeah,
And
yeah. So actually,
what
like
I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that usually a slightly junior engineer would be uh, working on some things like Sonar Cube and all that. I'm not trying
yeah,
to.
actually, most of the things they will because most of the things were failing in like configuring the Kubernetes and Terraform files. So
Mhm,
like
mhm.
actually like most kind of things
Now you are talking business, right? Now you are talking the real stuff.
yeah, so yeah, so like actually they were facing challenges in like deploying the Kubernetes from scratch. So
Mhm.
I'll be helping in that, like setting up that master and work on nodes, and then configuring the YAML file deployment to them. Like the configuration is easy, but like mapping the YAML file to that they were facing challenges, so we can we are
Can
engaging.
you help me if you can write one deployment file while we are in this discussion?
Yeah, sure.
If you
I'll
can open Notepad and share your screen and just explain what you are writing. That's it.
yeah. Let me know like once you see my screen. Can you see my screen
Not yet.
now?
No.
Just a moment. Now,
Yep, it's coming up.
it's coming up.
Still stuck on a blank screen. No, it didn't load properly.
Mm, I shared the full screen.
Maybe
Go entire screen. Uh,
share a notepad or something.
it's not visible.
Now it's visible.
Mm.
Now it's visible. I can see your screen now.
You can see, right?
Yes.
So you want me to write what?
Just maybe a deployment of Nginx container.
Yes.
And just keep explaining, like if you can just.
Yeah. So we are like first defining the API version of slash v1 for like kind check, and then we'll do the kind parameter, and then we are like passing the metadata information, and inside that metadata information will type the name of the image as that in Nginx, and image in Nginx, and then we will type the type text as
I think I got a good idea. You know your stuff, so that's why you are able to proceed very quickly. And then you can always have templates and your previous deployment files that you can refer to.
yeah, like they are like a lower version and all those information we are setting up metadata, and then in the like specs also then we'll define that vault configuration also to define the database drivers and all.
Okay. You mentioned about Kubernetes and Terraform. How do you use both these technologies together, and you can remove your screen share if you want to. How do you use these technologies together? And
Yeah, so like actually right now, like because in earlier company, like I used to like have that whole the Terraform architecture from starting from like scratch, making the Terraform file, and we'll go through that init phase of the Terraform, and then we'll plan, and then we will push that particular Terraform file into that our code pipeline in the Azure. And right now here, like I am managing the cube pods through kubectl commands and all. So like actually the kubectl commands is like more kind of like for I feel like
no,
it's too
but don't go into that command. That's not my question. How are you using Terraform and Kubernetes together? What part does Terraform performs, and what is that Kubernetes perform? How is
yeah.
it integrated together?
So actually Kubernetes is more kind of like orchestration kind of stuff. Managing your containers, managing your Docker containers, and
Mhm.
leveraging the solutions as per the load balancing part. But
Right.
Terraform is more kind of like you are building the infrastructure, like how many like solutions you need, like VM. So earlier, like we are using Ansible as well as for like this infrastructure as a code format. But like for deploying for how many VMs we are going to leverage.
But why do I need VMs when my application is on Kubernetes?
Yeah, sometimes related uh, to like it's kind of like fault tolerance kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
instead of like replica sets were failing, actually it's 99% it will not fail. But like most of the times like we'll go for like VM solutions and all. So instead, sometimes the VM solutions will be like more feasible for the legacy application instead of Docker.
Okay,
While
so while application X on Kubernetes, but application Y can be on VMs. Or are you saying application X will also be on Kubernetes and on VM also?
No, actually, like for the application, for example, like we have this container called, we have like full stack application, okay? So
Mhm.
we have deployed this thing called that Angular APIs and all from the Docker side, and this thing is Spring Boot also on the Docker side. But database will keep on this one VM part. I'm not sure, but actually on that legacy, due to legacy application part, that's why they have deployed in VM solutions instead of Docker.
Right, right. Well, not every application can be containerized, right? So,
Yes, not every application, but 99% time, like we are making the containers frameworks.
okay. All right. I think, Rohan, that's what I wanted to cover. I at high level. Maybe, are you also performing the role of leading a team or something?
Actually, like I usually work with BA and product owner to leverage the solutions for like actually in Accenture when I was in Accenture, so I used to work with VP sales and marketing plus product owner teams to define the business solutions
Right.
and managing the overall release for global for international as well.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, no, it's evident from your conversation that you are leading teams or talking to other stakeholders outside your
Yes,
they're like not a single contributor, individual contributor kind of role, but more of a multiple roles that you are playing.
yes, yes. Yes. Actually, I'm not from the MBA background, so that's why like I'm not going into that management right way. So like I'm just going because right now to be a senior person, then I'll move to architect role, then I'll jump into that management stuff.
Okay. If you were you were from MBA, then you would have probably jumped few
Yeah,
rankings.
like yeah.
Okay. No worries. It's good from technical background you switch to that higher roles.
Yeah. Uh, so like, how is the feedback like as for you?
I'll share the feedback. I'll just stop the
Mhm. Yeah, sure, sure.